Good morning, Polly. How are you?
Good. Thanks, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. Question for you. My
Sure.
question of today. Did you play high school sports?
I did not play high school sports. Played some sports in middle school,
Oh, yeah.
but when we went to high school from Little Compton, we went to Middletown. So it was like 45 minutes. So it would be a lot of stress on your family getting you after practice and stuff. We did have a late bus, but yeah, no, I did not. I did play powder puff football my senior year.
Awesome game. Awesome sport.
Yeah.
I would watch if they had a league on television.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the powder puff games that I've seen over my high school years have been very, very competitive. I mean, I know everyone, it's a friendly game and everything like that, but not on the field when I was watching games.
So we played flag because it was I forget. I don't know if it was senior girls again. I think it was senior girls against junior girls, and it was not so brutal, but
not so brutal.
Yeah.
So there was you didn't want to win.
I always want to win, no matter what I'm doing. But yeah,
that's what I was looking for. That's what it was.
Maybe we should get a powder puff league going here at the Brown House.
I'm telling you, a league would be a big draw. We should look into that. If we could somehow tie it into prevention, I think we can get a league.
If we played powder puff football, who do you think would be in the office the next day? Who'd be most likely to be okay to return to the office the next day?
My bet would be Rebecca, because she's the director and no one would want to hit her.
Oh, maybe, right.
Or grab the flag. No one sort of like, yeah, everybody's job's on the line.
We just hand her the football. Here you go.
Oh, you're the MVP.
Did you play any sports in high school?
Yes, I did. I was a track and field athlete.
Really?
Yes.
So what was your event?
I ran the 100.
Yep.
And the 4x1 relay.
Oh, I like a good relay.
And for my field events, I did the long jump and triple jump.
Oh.
And I'm going to say that I thought that was quite the big deal. Depending on who you ask, I was an all-star. Meaning, if you ask me, I was an all-star. If you ask my coach, I have a whole different story. But,
the triple jump just looks like terribly difficult to coordinate in your head.
It is. You definitely had to have your step for both of them, because you got that little line. If your toenail is over the line, it's a fault. Your jump isn't counted. But yeah, the triple jump, I'd never had done it before. All I knew was my sprinting. That's all I wanted to do. But then at my school, you had to do 2 and 2, so you had to do 2 track and 2 field events. And so it was like, I wanted to do the high jump, but I just still to this day can't coordinate my body to do that. I don't know how people jump over that bar.
Right.
I have no idea. And I try and try, but I just can't fathom how they do it. Pole vault wasn't allowed, although there were some schools that, to win the extra points would have somebody hold the pole vault stick, knowing that no one's going to actually do it. Just so they get the
step
points.
over
Yeah. Like, but yeah, so track and field was my thing of choice, and the 100 is probably all I could do. After that, the 200, the 400 was like a marathon to me, so I could never.
Maybe we should race here instead of play football.
Hey, if it's 100 yards, I'm all down.
All right.
If it's we used to have to train doing the 200 for the 100, and I'd be gassed at the end. So, but we're saying reason why I was asking about sports, because today our guest on Totally Preventable is Michael Falcone from the Newport Gulls.
Yes, I'm excited. Michael's always fun to talk to, and the Gulls are always fun. The Gulls game is always fun. Always enjoy heading down there once a year.
Yeah, I remember Michael pulled me on the field my first Gulls game, pulled me on the field to be in a donut eating contest.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a pinch hitter.
It should have been. It should have been with my speed from track and field. I could have hit like the designated runner.
Yeah.
I would have ran those bases like 5 times before anyone noticed. But no,
you should do the race. Isn't there a race with Gully?
There probably is, but
you should get in on that.
It might disqualify me for being a ringer because I'm super fast. But it should be a great interview. We have our prevention night coming up on the 29th. They're always a great partner with us for that.
Absolutely.
And sure, there'll be a whole bunch of fun activities that will lead up to the game. So ready to see the new roster, waiting to see what's new for the Gulls.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right. Here we go. Today on Totally Preventable, we are lucky and so very privileged to have Michael Falcone with us from the Newport Gulls. How you doing today, Michael?
I'm doing very well. That was a very nice introduction there. I appreciate that. I mean, the pleasure's all mine, how much you guys do for not only the Gulls, but the community here. And then when I heard you were starting up the podcast a couple of weeks back, I knew I had to hop on this here. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you.
We're excited to have you. We've been interviewing some community partners, and as you can imagine, a lot of the subjects are very serious and important. So it's nice to mix in some more light community partners that have some more exciting stuff to share that's a little more fun and family friendly. Not that the other partners aren't super important, yes, but
might want to say that.
Yes, no, definitely super important, but it's nice to mix it up and have a little bit more of a light conversation too.
Absolutely. In your line of work, it's you deal with a lot of those hard-hitting subjects there. Not that we deal with them as well, so I'm sure it's a fine line, especially when you're doing a podcast such as this, and keeping the folks engaged.
Yes. Yep. So we know what you do with the Gulls, but can you tell our listeners what your job is with the Gulls?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the director of baseball operations for the Newport Gulls, and who we are as an organization is a 501c3 nonprofit collegiate baseball team. So all of our players are the best college players in the country. You have folks from Miami, Texas, UCLA, Louisville, all the big name schools send their players to us in the summertime. And we play 44 games, 22 home, 22 away at Cardines Field in Newport, Rhode Island. And my job is to help orchestrate getting everybody here, all of their lodging and all of the scheduling, equipment, field maintenance, all that fun stuff. But how we, the Prevention Coalition and the Newport Gulls got involved in something that the organization really stresses is partnerships and community involvement with our local cities and towns. So a lot of what we do at the park is family-friendly entertainment. What we do around town and community is getting involved and trying to use those players who are the major league stars of tomorrow, really starting to, they'll be top athletes, and they already are top athletes in the best colleges and universities in the country. We like to use them as role models to provide some guidance and some knowledge to our youth. And that's a lot of what I do as well, is work with individuals such as yourselves. As a nonprofit, we do have a lot of sponsors and a lot of community events. So all of those little aspects is what I'm in charge of and what I deal with on a day-to-day basis.
So you mentioned, first off, that these are first college students. They're at the top of their game. They're coming into this big touristy area. You have to get all this lodging, everything. What challenges are there in having a bunch of college students in Newport for the summer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just finding the housing first off is a challenge. They all live with host families while they're here. And not only is it finding them somewhere to live, physically a room to live in, because nowadays everybody's renting out their extra room or extra cottage or whatever. But they are college students, they are young adults. So there's a definitely the right demographic and a right family that can kind of have that in their home. Not that they would be, they're all great kids. We don't recruit them just on their baseball skills. We recruit them on how they are as people and students as well. So those are conversations we have with their coaches and themselves before we even offer them a spot. But, folks with children, depending on what age they are, that's a challenge that we have to kind of figure out. Again, all college age young men. So that's something that, if you have young boys, girls, whatever it is, girls, boys going off to college. So it's something that we definitely have to consider when we're placing these folks. But there's something that, we start right in the beginning of the season, or right at the when everybody gets here, really, maybe about a week into the season when everybody starts arriving. We sit them down and we discuss exactly what Newport is, what the expectations are for them while they're here as part of our organization, representing our organization and being those role models. Because it's not only when you're in the school and when you're at the baseball field, but what are you doing when you're going out to eat with your host family? What are you doing if you're meeting up with friends and or having friends or family in town from all over the country and you're showing them around now? So it's really important that we go through those guidelines. And as college students, their majority of them are not 21. The nightlife here in Newport, Rhode Island is pretty robust. It's pretty lively, as I'm sure you guys touch upon a lot. But those are all things that we really present to them early and on in their time with the Gulls, and is one of those challenges because as Newport Gulls, or as athletes in general, you have fans, you have people watching games, and if they don't like how you performed on the field and you leave the you leave the park, you're going to get a bite to eat, or you're going downtown to meet somebody, you have to handle yourself appropriately in those situations. So that's definitely a challenge with that age group here in Newport, Rhode Island.
Yes. I was just talking to one of my daughters, and I don't know if she mentioned the Gulls or something. One of her friends' cousin is hosting a Gull. So I'll have to find out more information. We can chat about that. But
yeah.
I've never known anyone that hosted a Gull. I mean, I know that obviously they're hosted, but so I'll get more information. So we are a sponsor. We've been a sponsor. I know that we work together with you to find people to throw out the first pitch, maybe sing the national anthem, different aspects of the opening part of the game, I guess other parts as well. Have you ever had some really exciting guests show up that you weren't expecting? I know, was it last year? I think it was, we somehow got the governor to come, and that was kind of exciting. But have you ever had someone else show up very unexpectedly that was very exciting?
I don't know about unexpectedly. Maybe short notice would be the best word for it. Usually if you're somebody that high profile, somebody catches wind or gets known about it. That was really awesome that the governor came last year to Prevention Night. But we've had Mike Schmidt, who's a Major League Hall of Famer. He has a place out in Portsmouth over at the Carnegie Abbey or the Equipment Club. So he checked out a game one time. Ironically, another person, Eduardo Perez, he's an analyst. He was a major leaguer. I was sitting down, my mom was coming up to visit, and I was sitting down with her towards the end of the game, and I just kind of did a double take, hey, who's, and sure enough, I was like, oh, bigger gentleman who definitely stuck out a little bit. And, he just looked familiar too, and kind of had that look of a ball player, but I was like, oh, I don't know who this is. And then sure enough, we saw on Twitter or Instagram or something, he put up great to be at the Newport Gulls game, checking out. So, he didn't even, and which is cool too, he didn't even make himself known, say anything about it. He was just there to, catch a ball game. Andy Katz, similar. I think he has a place in Newport. That's a ESPN and Big Ten Network basketball analyst. So we had some folks in that regard show up, kind of unannounced, I guess. I mean, it's we try to figure out who's going to be there so we can recognize them accordingly. We want to give everybody the recognition they deserve. But no, that's I think that's it, during my capacity. I mean, we host a big night every year in honor or in remembrance of Mark Weed, who was former Senate President Teresa Weed's husband. That we have a scholarship fund for our summer camps that's dedicated in his name. So a lot of Teresa's colleagues and friends and family will join us. So, before Governor McKee was Governor Raimondo, a lot of our senators, state senators and such, people you don't get to see every day. Our sister city of Shimoda, the mayor, when he was here in town a couple of years ago, he came over to the game. So we got some folks in that regard come down. Some Paul Sox players or some former Red Sox players have joined us, which is pretty cool. In one season, actually, I think it was like in a back-to-back week or something very, very quick in turnaround, was a pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays, Ryan Yarborough. He ended up pitching the World Series and such. His wife's brother played for us, and then she actually interned for us many years ago. So that was our connection there. And another pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays, Andrew Kittredge, who just actually is undergoing Tommy John surgery. He was an all-star for the Gulls. Those guys were in town like pretty quickly, right after one another. So that was pretty cool as well.
Wow.
Exciting. I'm discovering I don't know very much about baseball.
All right. A lot of names.
I know how the game works, but
now
Major
Michael,
League
earlier you were saying about the students that you recruit, the athletes that you recruit. Can you explain more about the Gulls and how they recruit for their league? Is this like a scouting and recruiting? Is this like a draft? How is this done in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. So summer collegiate baseball, there's leagues throughout the country of different calibers, and we're towards the tippy top of that, actually recognized as the #2 league in the country, right underneath the Cape Cod League, which is pretty famous. The movie Fever Pitch and that kind of recognition there, but we're right up there with them. And our organization is now in our 21st year. So a lot of our, I put it in quotes, our recruiting are the relationships that have been built with these colleges throughout the country. And baseball coaching is a pretty small circle when you get to that level. So a lot of relationships with different schools and different coaches. So every year we know we're going to get 2 or 3 from Virginia Tech. We know we're going to get 2 or 3 from Vanderbilt, Louisville, and Virginia, all those, Michigan State, all those things where coaches will say, hey, I want to send you 1, 2, and 3 from my roster. Who do you want? So we'll kind of pick in that regard. And then there's about 5 or 6 roster spots that we'll kind of do our research and see how they played in last year's summer league, how they do, in college here and that, kind of those hidden gem folks. But a lot of it is based off the relationships we have with all these college coaches. And unfortunately, it's not totally preventable to, have to move our roster and have to alter come this time of the year. Or right before the year, you have injuries, so then we're kind of scrambling, recruiting and, calling around left and right. But that's kind of our process, is really using our relationships throughout the country and referral based. I mean, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. So folks, we can say, hey, they're putting their stamp of approval on them, especially as a person, somebody, a coach, another player that we know has a relationship with one of these players is, and just finding, oh wow, he is so and so, how many home runs, do we really know how he's going to be when he comes to Newport here and when he's living with the host family and all those type of things.
Wow.
Is it common that you would have a player return to the Gulls for all 4 years?
All 4 is very difficult because it's a summer league. So as much as, I love what we do here, they're trying to kind of get to that maybe Cape Cod League the next year or afterwards. We'll have players maybe return for 2 summers. Three's a rarity because once you get done with your senior year, you're done with baseball. So you're really not going to play another summer league year. And where we are, kind of as I keep with that ranking system almost, it's tough as a freshman to come play for the Gulls. You'll probably play somewhere else, do good, then come play for us. So difficult. Not to say that it hasn't been done. I think we've had guys play for 3 seasons max. That's been the most some of our players have played. And we have a couple of returners. Every year we'll have 2 or 3 returning guys. But it's pretty rare to have them for more than 2 years, if even 2. And they want to get drafted. So, if they do well here, they go back to college and they're draft eligible, they got a legitimate shot to start playing professional baseball.
Awesome.
Terrific.
Now, can you tell us about the program you do with the local middle schools?
Yeah, ironic. This wasn't planned for anybody listening at home. Today was our first day that we're at Gaudet Middle School today in Middletown. We do the reading program is something. Always had a reading program for all the elementary schools, dating back to when we started the team. Before I was involved, we go to all the elementary schools and we read a book to the kids and say how important it is to read over the summer and how important reading is in general, and give them some tickets and things like that. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, one of my first couple of years with the team, I looked at the elementary school and then I saw, middle school is such developmental years for these kids. Granted, there's still high school in front of them and a lot changes when you come to high school, but why were we just stopping at an elementary school when there's still this big group of young, soon to be young adults that would benefit from having the influence of these players come in? So we kind of looked at it and said, hey, it's not reading, these kids are 12, 13, 14, they're not going to read to them. But what does it mean to be a college athlete? What does it mean to be a student athlete? These are the years that you really start setting the foundation for what you're going to do in high school and how you're going to maybe prepare for a collegiate career in sports or collegiate, just going to college in general. So that's the focus of in our middle schools is health and wellness. We get a lot of information from the Prevention Coalition and their websites and their print material and emails and such. The stress, we stress and the focus, drugs and alcohol, prevention. There's that age group nowadays is faced with a lot of hard decisions of that, a few years ago, we might've been saying, tobacco use and such, but now it's that vaping and smoking such, you have, even with baseball players, you have like the smokeless tobacco, the chewing tobacco, that kids around that. Cause I don't know. You would know more than me, maybe that some of the later years in high school or middle school rather are starting to drink and experiment with drinking and such, which, we advise against, of course, but that age group is very prone to this new vaping world and such. So we go into the middle schools and we kind of tell them, hey, this is what it takes to be a college athlete. If you want to prepare your bodies and your minds, this is kind of what the schedule you have to uphold. Really give them more of a motivation than anything and just say, hey, listen, these guys, some of them are 18, 19. They're not too far away from the 6th, 7th, 8th graders, and the seats that they were just sitting in. So I think it hits home pretty well for those players to be able to go into the middle schools and, tell them about their story and what, really what it takes and why there's a bigger picture and there's a bigger goal out there. You can play whatever level it is, whether it's Division I, whether you can go to the pros or it's Division II or III. It all starts, you have to kind of have that foundation And that's the focus of what we do in all those middle schools.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do believe that younger people really look up to some older young people's role modeling. I think something coming from an 18, 19-year-old is taken more at heart than hearing it from your parents or some other older person
Right.
that young people may feel hasn't been a young person in so long that they have no idea what it's like. So that's great. That's I think super helpful and probably very well received. I should have asked you this before when we were talking a lot of baseball, but did you play baseball as a kid or in college, or have you always had a love for baseball, or did this?
Oh, absolutely. No. It's been baseball, from day one. For me, I'm a transplant here to Rhode Island. I'm from Long Island, New York. I went to Salve Regina with hopes of becoming a great baseball player for their Division III program. Unfortunately, wasn't maybe as good as I had thought in my eyes, or maybe I was a big fish in a small pond back at home in high school or so. And I only played a couple of years up here, but I've always played I love baseball. Still, I go to as many games and watch baseball as much as possible, and I deal with a lot of baseball, in my day to day, of course. So yes, I've always played and love baseball. But I think it's a big, big lesson from my end too, and why I definitely don't hop up and talk to the kids, when our players are in the spotlight and talking about it. But there's other ways to be involved in something you love. Sports, not playing. Unfortunately, not everybody, even our guys. We have 35 guys on the roster. Granted, 20 of them will probably play professional baseball, 15 but maybe one will make it to the major leagues. Everybody else within 4, 5, 6 years is going to be, doing what you or I do, and working full time in whatever field that is. So there's a lot of paths in sports and in what you love that might not be the that direct line to the big leagues. So that's what another piece that we talk about, and what I like to talk to students and talk to little leaguers and such about is, hey, it's great to be great on the field, but what do you do off the field? You still have to go to class. You still have to do, I'll admit it myself. Again, being a big fish in a small pond type of thing, I was like a sophomore in high school, and I was like, come on, do I need to get this grade or that grade? I'm going D1. I'm going D, this, the other. And, I quickly found out that wasn't the case. And not that I was slacking off by any means, but I had that thought in my head. All right, do I really need to study for this test? Why is it going to pay off there? What is this going to do for my future in baseball? But in all reality, you never know what the future holds. You pray that you're going to be healthy throughout. You hope that somebody's going to recognize you and see you and you'll play ball or go, get on a scholarship for something. But it's important to focus on school and have those foundations and have those kind of pillars that you live by and develop as middle schoolers, high schoolers, because you never know what's going to happen the rest of your life. So that's my little tangent on my but it's really, I don't know. I think it's really cool for me personally and for my family that, and I'm sure a lot of folks can maybe think of this as well, or have it be involved or relate to them rather, like little leaguers. There's always the best players. There's always those guys who are playing travel and going to here and here, what tournament and this and that, and who's the starter. But there's kids on the bench, and their parents are talking to the other parents and stuff. Oh, my son's getting recruited by this, that, and the other thing. And I think what's really special for me being, now when my folks see parents of those other players that might have been higher prospects and all this type of stuff, they're having a conversation saying, oh, what's your son doing? Oh, he's an accountant. He's this, he's doing construction, he's doing that. Oh, now, for me, I'm still in baseball. I'm still at a high level of baseball. It's not playing anymore, but you realize in time that it's not always how you on the field, that you can achieve success in a sport. So I think that's really special and something that I try to talk to the younger generation about.
That's right.
That is a good message. Do you ever get to like play a little catch or do a little BP?
Oh, of course. Batting practice let me out there too much to play BP, but
Michael just taught me what BP was, so I thought I'd throw that out there like a pro.
throw it around a little bit. It's more so with some of the little leaguers or something like that if they're running down to the field. But yeah, no, I played in like an adult league and stuff until a couple of years ago. Maybe I'll get back into it, but yeah, no, being around baseball. I have a baseball in my hand. I'm in the car now. I'm sure there's grab myself right here.
So I guess this question is really probably already answered, but now you said you played in high school, college, you even traveled with a baseball in your car. You're director of baseball operations. Do you ever just listen to the white noise of no baseball, or is it just baseball all day, every day?
Well, in the summertime, it's baseball all day.
Yeah, all right.
Summertime for sure. Hey, I was down and director of baseball operations. There's a lot of things under the umbrella, including field maintenance. So, it's down water in the field, raking up, doing stuff, early morning, late night, things like that. There's times in the winter and the fall that there's not much baseball, but it's pretty much baseball all the time. I'm thinking about it. It's some point. And it always has been since I was younger.
That's great.
So I've got to ask you about Gully and Gully Junior, because they are like one of my favorite parts of going to a Gulls game. You will, sorry to the players, but I do think they are very fun. They try to engage the crowd. And can you tell us a little about them? Are they always at the game? Do they head out to middle schools? Are they around town? What are they up to?
The birds are running around all over the place. Gully and Gully Junior. They'll be there for all of our home games. It gets a little hot sometimes in the summer, so they might have to go back into the birdhouse and cool off a little bit. But no, they love coming out, running around. The kids love them. They're very much a part of what we do, and they're ingrained in our organization and our program. They go to the reading program as much as possible. They go to the middle school, whenever their schedule permits. It's a busy life for those guys. They're very high in demand, but they're running around on the field, getting everybody pumped up. They're flapping their wings and signing autographs, and that's what we're trying to do at the field, is make everything fun, family friendly entertainment, give them some stories to remember. And hey, these players, maybe they come and go, maybe they stop, as I said, playing baseball, but Gully and Gully Junior are celebrities throughout. So yeah, they're great. I love them. I love them to death, those birds.
I think Greg was trying to stall on the question, so he didn't get that one. I don't
know. So we've heard a lot about the team.
Yep.
What can we expect this season? Any standouts? Any surprises? What do you think we can?
Yeah, we're 1 week in now. About a week and a couple games, 7 games in actually, is to be exact, and we're 6-1 right now.
Wow.
We played as bad as you could probably play on opening night. Got no hit, and we won 6 in a row since then. So in terms of what we can expect, and I would have said this before the season, talented baseball players joining us here in Newport, whether that results in a championship, which I really hope it does. You're going to see really great baseball players right here in your backyard. Mm. There's a lot of standouts. We actually have an individual who will only be with us for another couple weeks. He's from the Air Force Academy. So he has to go back to the academy and get back into his training and such. But he was one of the top hitters in the country. I think top 5 in the country, led the country in hits. He's tearing it up for us right now. He's a phenomenal player. His name's Sam. Doing really well for us. We have a lot of great hitters. Folks that were top on their teams in hitting. We have a couple folks who are taking, that next step in their career and moving colleges to some pretty esteemed baseball schools. We have a couple folks who are transferring to SEC schools like Arkansas and Mississippi State. So the quality of baseball is fantastic. We're playing well right now. I really, and if you would have asked me this before the season, I would have said the same thing. Our hitting, I think, is one of the best I've seen in a few years. Wow. Frankly, I've been involved. Hitting wise, these guys are hitting the cover off the ball. I mean, we scored 17 runs 2 nights ago in Martha's Vineyard, which is pretty significant. I hope that we can keep it going, but overall, a lot of good hitters coming to our team and playing for us. Seems like a lot of good pitching as well. Can never have enough pitching. You never know what pitchers hold. We also have a local individual, Dom Parachi from Salve Regina, playing for Division III standout. I mean, he was a Division III player, but that kid is Division I through and through. Has a real shot at getting drafted this coming July too. I mean, just in his first game pitching for us, he struck out 11 guys in 6 innings. Ooh. So, yeah, nice. So he's pretty. So a lot of great baseball, but like we talked about, a lot of events at the park. Our prevention coalition night, our military appreciation night, our reading night, all that stuff. Having the mascots down there, letting kids run the bases, and giving out T-shirts, just making memories over the summer, and hopefully being a positive influence on this community that's helped support us. Individuals and groups like yourself who support what we do and allow us to continue to be able to do this year in and year out.
Yeah. Do you guys follow your players after they leave the Gulls? Do you still stay in contact with them and follow up with what they're up to? And
absolutely, we sent out so we try to do stay on top of those guys as much as possible, just from Googling, and but there's some that we talking text conversation with very frequently. As I've been involved now for 6 or 7 years, there's been quite a bit of players that have developed a friendship with them and their families. But it's funny, again, you say that. We sent out our newsletter, just our e-newsletter, update on standings, update on this and that. And I had one parent who played for the team in 2018. Hey, thanks so much for keeping us updated. We had such a great time. Nick actually just got called up to AAA literally 2 days ago. He got called up to AAA. I knew he was still playing. I wasn't sure that he was close, but he's close to playing for the Guardians, which formerly Ray Davis's team. But yeah, so we keep in touch a lot. We keep tabs on these guys. There's 27 former players who have played or are playing in the major leagues. Really, we have 7 or 8 currently, which is pretty cool. Of those 27, and then we have another 7, 8 who are just knocking on the doorstep. Like this fella Nick, who played for Virginia Tech a few years ago. He played for us in 2018. So we keep good tabs on it, and they do say, hey, I loved playing for the Gulls, all that stuff, but I love those crowds. They were packed, they were lively. You guys did all this before pregame. I remember doing the reading program this, or the summer camp that. So it does stick with these guys, and we have a Hall of Fame as well that we'll induct players in. Actually, we're going to announce our next class this summer will be announced. And I've been to these Hall of Fame ceremonies, the past few years, and major league guys who have played here, played there, have a lot of them say, hey, that was the best summer of my life. That was the best, that was the best time playing baseball. And that's really special to hear.
That is awesome. I did not know about the Hall of Fame, but that's great. Wow.
Yep.
Now, earlier we were talking about, the host families, and in order for us to keep this baseball going and keep, we need them to be dwelling somewhere. So how important are the host families, and how does one become a host family?
I mean, yeah, host families are our lifeblood, really our foundation. We if we don't have families to live with, for our players to live with, then we can't do what we do throughout the community. We can't do what we do, at the field. So we can thank them profusely. When it comes to becoming a host family, I get a lot of information out, just social media, word of mouth, website, all that type of stuff. Always looking for host family. We were talking about, earlier. There's kids who get older, kids who go to college, the room becomes available, the room maybe doesn't become available, the studying abroad, all that stuff. So there's always attrition when it comes to host families. And really just reaching out to myself, operations at Newport Gulls. That's my email. Going on the website and finding my information. That's the best way, to kind of talk through if it's a fit for their family or for your family to host a gull. We're forever indebted to those folks who open up their homes to our players. And really, that's, even more so than us than myself. The host families are the ones who keep in touch with all their former gulls and their host families. How often do I hear, oh, so-and-so's getting married, or, hey, I was just invited to so-and-so's bridal shower, or this and that. It's a lifelong bond created with these players because, although they're running around a lot, they're running around quite a bit, and it ends up being, really a place to shower and sleep and park the car if they have one here. But, we have off days, like today is an off day. But those memories of playing ball with, or wiffle ball, or hanging out with the family or the kids and the neighborhood kids and such, that stuff lasts forever. And such a positive influence and role models, having somebody like that in your house. And, they're awesome. And being a host family is super important to us. But I think that, and somebody said it the other day, because we had a few host families who had to move around. We had some players that weren't supposed to be here, and we had some stuff moving around. And I asked one of our host families if, hey, maybe they had, I know you have an extra space, would you consider taking another kid at your place? And super, I went over there and I talked to the family. The players' family was in town. They were dropping them off, and after they left, I was just sticking around and said, hey, thanks so much again. I know this isn't ideal. Thanks for opening up your homes to everything. And it was really nice because they said, hey, everybody's always thanking us. You guys are always saying thank you. But we should be thanking you guys for the influence on our kids, the amount of fun we have over the summer. When it gets to the winter time and the fall and they're gone, it's not quite as fun. It's not as enjoyable here. So, we always think, how lucky are we that we're involved with the Gulls and such. So, that really hit home. I thought that was really special because that host family is just, they've been doing it for a few years now. And if we need somebody on, quick little, hey, can I stay with you for a couple days? Hey, so-and-so's family's going out of town. You mind if they grab, the guest room or whatever it is? They're always open to it. So that stuff's really, really special, and what I love hearing. It makes it all really worthwhile.
That's great. That's great relationships. Great.
Awesome. Michael, it has been great talking to you. I have learned a lot about the organization, a little bit about baseball.
You'll learn some more.
Yeah. Always great to partner with you guys. We always look forward to the Gulls game. If you're catching this before the game, we hope to see you there on the 29th at 6:35. But I feel like if you show up at 6:35, you miss a lot of the fun stuff, right? You got to show up a little bit before 6 to see a lot of the fun stuff.
Yep, emotional.
See our smiling faces. So
absolutely. No, hey, thanks for having me. I know I said it, but I touched upon it a little bit with the programs that we do in the middle school programs, and even the game night. Polly, as Polly said, I go through a pregame ceremony. I introduce the night. I introduce what we have going on, and it's significant not only for us receiving support, just like I said with that host family story, we're extremely, thankful for the support that you guys give to us as sponsors and advertisers and such. But our players are getting such a benefit too, hearing everything that the Prevention Coalition is doing, because they are young adults. I mean, they're still college students. So the things that our players are saying to the middle schoolers, our players are saying to the summer camp attendees, you say something enough, it's going to stick in, it's going to sink in for them. So I think that's really a benefit, more so than even just, being a partner with you guys. So, thanks for having me on. Thanks for everything you guys do on a daily basis. I mean, I know I went through a couple things that I do, but I couldn't imagine, taking a day in your shoes and all the stuff that you have going on, and the situations you find yourselves in, just trying to make our community a better place. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, if someone wants to head to Cardines and see a game and
Yep.
they've never seen a game before, what should they do?
Well, head on down Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We play. That's like clockwork until the end of July. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:35. Tickets are pretty available at the ballpark, and we keep them super affordable so that everybody can attend. $5 for adults, $2 senior military and kids, and then $1 for children under 12. So head on down there or check out our website, newportgulls.com. We're on every social media you can imagine too, just at Newport Gulls. And then my email, if you need me, operations@newportgulls.com. Happy to answer anything that comes to mind and arises for you guys.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Michael. It was great talking to you.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you on the 29th.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
I feel
Thank
like one
you.
of us needs to yell, play ball.
It's got to be Michael.
Go ahead, Michael.
Play ball.